35 Wildest One Time My Dad Stories, according to Reddit. Number 35. When I was walking out to the car to leave for college, my dad yelled, "Hey," from the front door. I turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit lonely and never come around. He takes his huge box of magnum-sized condoms, and throws them at me as hard as he can. They hit me in the nose as he yells, "Care package," and then ran inside laughing. That's very flattering, Dad, but I don't have much use for him. Oh my God, this is great. Because there's two implications, either that he doesn't use condoms or that they're too big for him. Not sure if small peen or virgin. Somebody said maybe he likes to live dangerously. I didn't even take into account the virgin, lifestyle. Like he's got a waifu and it's a pillow, you know what I mean? Fuck me. Number 34. God damn, this is kind of big. My stepmom owns, maybe? Yeah. My stepmom owns a couple of hot dog stands that are located in Home Depots. Every summer, she caters an outdoor movie night for the community of her cousin. It's an all-day event, and when I was in college, they asked me to help out and gave me the money they got paid so I could have some money for school. Cool. There's always money in the hot dog stand. The morning of the event, I go to my dad's house and start helping him load the hot dog carts onto the back of his truck. All of a sudden, this SUV starts speeding down the alley. My dad narrowly avoids getting hit, but as the SUV passes, it took out the driver's side mirror of my dad's truck. The SUV then stops a few houses down, and the guy jumps out and runs into a house. My dad and I both look at each other, really confused, and then went to check out the damage. The mirror was hanging off, so we had to start figuring a way to tape it up because we needed to make the hour-and-a-half long drive to the event. Y'all weren't just taking pictures and then going to get a picture of that motherfucker's license plate if he parked somewhere near. After a few minutes, the guy from the SUV comes back out and walks towards us. My dad was pretty pissed and looked ready to confront him. The guy stops right in front of the mirror, looks at it, turns to us and says, "I'm so sorry. I was about to shit myself." I could barely withhold my laughter, and although my dad was still visibly pissed, I could tell he thought it was funny too. The guy ended up paying for the mirror, but the whole thing was such a weird interaction. "I'm so sorry. I was about to shit myself." Number 33. One time when I was younger and embarrassed about my body and potential dirty words, my dad made a song about penises and vaginas and sang it any opportunity he could just to embarrass me. I wish we got the song. Penis and vagina, penis and vagina, penis and vagina, penis and vagina, vagina. Can you just imagine backup singers and harmonies? A penis and vagina. Man, the song writes itself, really. The song writes itself, really. Number 32. One time, my dad set my mom on fire. Isn't that the effect that we all want to have on the ladies at the end of the day, This was about 2 years ago. We were camping and were having trouble getting a fire started. My dad remembered that he had a container of flame accelerant in the trailer. I thought he just called his wife over and just said, "Hey, honey, talk to me. I'm sure sooner or later I'm going to want to just light you on fire." You know what I mean? Something like that. Hilarious. Ha ha ha. As we continue. I think it was the lighter fluid or something. Anyway, he squirted some of it into the fire pit and we got it going. A little bit later, he decided that it would be a really great idea just to use up the rest of the accelerant, so he pours it on the fire. Not the wood, like before, flames. So the bottle obviously starts on fire as well. And my dad freaks out and throws it on the ground and then tries to stomp on it to put it out, which leads to a stream of flames and fluid shooting out from the bottle and landing right on my mom's leg. What an idiot. You guys just don't even understand the way that fucking, it's flammable. God. It only burned for about 5 seconds And I kept yelling, "Stop, drop, and roll! Stop, drop, and roll, Mom!" at her, which she, of course, did not do, and tried to hold my laughter in until my mother was no longer ablaze. Man, she's probably never going to let you live that down.
I'll never forget the time I was on fire. He just laughed at me, yelling, "Stop, drop, and roll! Stop, drop, and roll!"
I dream those words. Every time I relive that nightmarish "I'm on fire," that girl is on fire. My dad isn't in charge of starting fires anymore. Number 31. When I was 17, my crush arrived to pick me up to go hang out. He didn't come to the front door, he just honked from the driveway, so my dad got all pissy. And that's not how you treat a lady. Honking is unacceptable, and didn't let me go out. He brought up that scenario repeatedly for years as a baseline for how my dates should treat me. He hated that guy. I got married a few years later, and my husband died a few years into our relationship. A few years after he died, I was joking with my dad about the guy honking his horn, and my dad looks at me and says, "Wait, that was the same guy?" "Yes, Dad, that was the same guy." He'd never realized that I'd married the honking guy. I didn't know that he didn't know. My kids love that story. It's pretty hilarious. "You married the honking guy? What the bing bong? I'm glad he died," said your dad. Number 30. My dad once put off going to the optometrist for 3 years. When he finally went, it turned out that his right eye was in charge of looking at things far away, and his left eye only looked at things close up. So they've got their jobs, and I bet they do them well. Sometimes during those 3 years, he became farsighted and his brain compensated with his special eyes. My brand. Number 29. One time my dad went to my school event in jeans, a jean shirt, and a jean jacket. As long as there was like Tweety stitched on there, you know what I mean? Oh my god. You guys remember Tweety from Looney Tunes, guys? What year is it? Number 28. One day, my dad answered the door in his underwear at 8 a.m. The salesman was obviously weirded out. After he left, my mom was mortified and asked why he did that. My dad said, "If those people don't want a show, they shouldn't have come for the matinee." Oh God, Dad. Jesus Christ, write a book, why don't you fucking bitch? Number 26. One time my dad cut off his fingertip. He was a safety/quality guy of all things in his professional life. However, when not working, he liked to drink hard. It was the weekend, so he was pounding back beers while building something like a fence or a deck or maybe a fucking airplane. The dude was a handyman, mechanic extraordinaire, so he was cutting wood in the garage for the coffin he was building. What? He had one of those spinning saws. A miter saw? He goes on to say, "I don't know what they're called. He realized I was too much of a pussy to ever make anything myself, so he didn't waste his breath telling me what the tools were called." In parentheses. He just kept his focus on the rocking chair he was building. Anyway, he's wrecked. He's cutting a 2x4 for the doghouse roof, not completely paying attention. How many things is this guy building at one time? Coffin? Plane? Doghouse roof now? The fuck is wrong with you? He's building like a billion things at one time. Does he just like get a whole bunch of projects and do all the cutting at one time? Like the way that we would queue up different documents for printing in a printer? What is going on here? What is going on here? I was sitting on the porch actually playing my Game Boy. I could hear the saw and him building his replica train station, but he told me to stay out of the garage because it could be dangerous. Good call. So I'm sitting there and I don't hear screaming like you'd expect when a dude building a loft isn't looking and cuts off the tip of his finger. Instead, I just heard the whirring of the saw and then a weird noise, which it turns out was his bone being cut. When the saw shuts off and I hear this very matter of fact, "Well, that's just what I fucking need on my day off." And I was nearly done building that dock. Yeah. Then he walks out of the garage and sees me, and he's holding the tip of his finger in his hand he just cut off between the thumb and pinky. Okay? And his middle finger is held up, and he's holding his other hand over the top of it and pressing down like he's calling a timeout. He looks me in the eyes and says, "Can you get the door for me?" then grabbed me some ice to put my bloody fingertip in. And sorry about the swearing. This hurts. I ran to the door and ran and got him ice. Meanwhile, he grabbed his wallet and keys, and when he came and found me in the kitchen, he got his mangled hand pressed into his hip like he's striking some supermodel pose. And he's shaking his head, visibly annoyed. Then I held the bag of ice open, he dropped the fingertip in, then asked me to seal the bag. I did and gave it to him. He put it in his pocket. Then he looks at me like he's working out the best next action and finally says, "All right, don't tell your mom about this. She'll just freak out for nothing. I'm going to the hospital to get this stupid thing sewed back on. If I'm not home for dinner, just tell your mom I went to the hardware store. Oh, and don't go in the garbage. It looks like a horror movie in there." Or the garage. Man, garbage is only one letter away from garage. Interesting. Then he fucking drove himself to the hospital, and sure enough, from that day forward, his middle finger was shorter than the other fingers beside it. But I still am not 100% sure that mom knows. In case anyone reads this, or is even still in the thread, thought you might like to know that I found out what he was actually building. Let's take a look at this, guys. What? It's a link to this thread. It's a link to this thread. And I guess it's him talking to his dad? Anyway. Okay, I'm glad you can still live. Yes, he works with wood and probably 90% of the quantum choices in my story at one point in time or another. But to my conversation with him. Hey dad, him, what do you want? You never phoned me. Are you okay? Is anyone dead? No, I just wanted to talk. Great. Are you drunk? No, Dad, but remember that time when you cut your finger off with the saw? You're gonna have to be more specific. Me. You were building something in the garage out of wood and you cut the tip of your finger off, then drove yourself to the hospital. Yeah, so? Well, I was telling someone about it. Jesus, Bill, why the hell would you do that? People are gonna think your old man is an idiot. And if I'm an idiot, then that makes you a real fucking idiot. No, Dad, don't worry. I was telling them that you're a badass. There is nothing glamorous about drinking while handling your wood. Did you tell them that it was a cautionary tale? No, listen, what were you making? Oh, remember when your brother sat on his bed and the whole thing collapsed because he was a pudgy kid? Yeah, about that. Him. Yeah, I was turning his bed frame into the box you kids use to store your Legos in. Get me the fuck out of this thread. This has run on far too long. The next one is just my fucking length because it's short as hell. Number 26. My dad was a fireman and picked me up from school in a fire engine once. A great one-time my dad story. Fuck me. That's all that I need, okay? Not the fucking me. Oh my god, look at this one now. What are you guys doing in here? I'm trying to get out of here. My mouth is getting dry. I'm kind of hungry. Oh wait a minute, I got a drink here. Okay, give me a second. That's pretty good. Woo. That'll hold me for a while. Number 25. One time, my dad scared the piss out of a guy that wouldn't take no for an answer. Should probably get that pop filter. I feel like I'm just like giving the mic the business here. Give me this pop filter really quick. Give me 1 second. Give me a second, guys. Is the music louder than it needs to be? Let's take a look. I don't know. We're going to turn that music down just a little bit. Make that music suck that cock. All right. I got pretty much peer pressured onto going on a double date with a guy that I hated. And I had told him that I hated him. Well, we both work at the local fast food joint. And I was fresh out of high school and naive. And I felt like I had to be nice. He asked me out in a way that put me on the spot too. On his day off in the middle of my shift, he showed up dressed like he was going to a wedding. Brought me a bunch of flowers and asked me in the middle of lunch rush, mortifying me, and everyone started chanting, "Say yes." What a fucking douche. I agreed and ran out of my shift crying and feeling like I couldn't back out. It was painfully obvious during and after the date that I was not interested. He kept calling me, texting me, leaving threatening and weird voicemails. In this day and age? He even drove by my house a few times. The parents noticed my change in mood and asked me what was going on, and I told them and played them the voicemails. My dad asked me when we next had the same shift, and I told him. My dad came to the restaurant after his factory shift. My dad is a big dude and looks scary, especially covered in grease and wearing a uniform. My dad busts into the restaurant, gives me a hug, asks me, "Where is the son of a bitch?" Everyone is frozen in the place and slack-jawed. Anyone that knew my dad knew him as a goofy kind of guy, so they were just in awe in this whirlwind, and he had bust in the door. I pointed to the kitchen, and this dopey motherfucker looks like he is going to piss his pants. My dad points right at him and says, "Leave my daughter the fuck alone, or I will go back to jail." Tells me he loves me, and my mom is cooking dinner, waves to some of my friends he knows, and walks out the door like nothing happened. That guy went on break and never came back, and he never bothered me again. What an Asperger's piece of bing bong. What an Asperger's little piece of... Why y'all harassing ladies when some ladies out there like to be harassed? Okay, get on the internet, find somebody that lines up with your dumbass interests. Because no matter what stupid anime with little boys kissing that you like, you know what I mean? Yeah, there's somebody out there that's all about what you're all about. You're a fucking weirdo, okay? I'm kidding. Number 24. One time I was in another room and the phone rang. What a dilemma. I hear my dad answer the phone when a telemarketer called, and they asked if he wants his ductwork cleaned. He said, "Yes, I would love to have my ducts cleaned." Quack, 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 quack. And then he just hangs up on the guy. That's not funny. That's why it gets me so much. Fuck. Oh, man. That's not funny. That's not funny, man. That's not funny. That's just stupid. You don't got a willy, you don't get the silly, huh? Yes, I would like my ducks cleaned. You bitch. Get out. Somebody responds, "My dad told the telemarketer fuck off once. The telemarketer called back, listed our address, and threatened to kill the whole family. The police escorted me home from school that day." Well, some people just aren't suited to be a telemarketer. "I know where you fucking live. I'm gonna fucking kill your family, goddammit. You fucking kill your family. I'm gonna kill your family." Okay, so this guy just threatened me? What's going on here? Oh my god. You're gonna buy our products. We're gonna kill you. Number 23. One time we went to Universal Studios and my dad took me to the Hulk roller coaster, even though I knew it would make him sick. I was afraid of coasters at that point, and he sacrificed himself because he knew I would never go on the ride without him. When we got off, his face was completely colorless and his stomach was done working correctly for the rest of the day, but I loved the roller coaster. The fact that he went through that so that you could experience it. That's the joy of having a father that I'll never know. That I'll never know. I'm the baby boy with nowhere to go and no one to love me. No one to love me. Why don't you love me? I'm kidding. Number 22. Does it have to be a fucking essay though? This ought to be good, right? Let's get somewhere. Number 22. One time my dad defended my honor in the form of a snowball fight / massacre, which I didn't learn about until nearly a decade later. I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, walking home from my friend's house after enjoying a snow day sledding around in her hilly backyard. I like to snow around in girls' hilly backyards, but I like her front yard more. You see what I did there, guys? Shut the fuck up and get through this list, Gael. Apparently the neighborhood boys around my age, I am a girl. Ugh. No, wait, that makes it better. But they're both underage. It said 7 or 8 years old. Oh, God. Oh, God, you've made this weird. spent their day building a fort structure. I remember stopping briefly to admire it, but no kids in sight. You were 7 or 8 years old, you were calling all this crap in like ridiculous detail. You must be autism as fuck. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's the good type of autism too, when you have crazy ass memory. Wish I could be autistic. It's like a superpower. Oh well, I turned and continued walking home. Guys, if you have autistic children or you are autistic yourself, you know that I'm teasing, and this is all in good fun. You know, everybody needs a little bit of humor, because if we don't laugh, then we'll cry. Okay? Because if we don't laugh, then we'll cry. Okay? Because if we don't laugh, then we'll cry. Now, oh well, I turned and continued walking home. Suddenly, about 5 boys popped up, and they start pummeling the shit out of me with snowballs. Oh, boys. I guess they also spent the day stocking ammunition and waiting for the perfect passing victim. They really fucked my shit up. I am a stupidly petite adult, and thusly was a really tiny little girl that these dumb boys really didn't understand what they were going too far. Yeah, little boys are the types of motherfuckers that accidentally drown each other, you know what I mean? Because these kids don't know how far is too far. I was down on the ground and still getting nailed by snowball after snowball, mostly in the head and in the face area. After the initial shock, I made efforts to block the shots with my snow saucer and finally got on my feet to run. They followed me until they ran out of projectiles and retreated. Relieved, I stopped running and was just so upset. I was barely even walking, just dragging my feet, crying, trying to wipe my face with my big bulky gloves. Then my dad's car pulls up next to me. He had gone to work that day despite the snow and had just pulled into the neighborhood. "Hey kid, need a ride?" So yeah, I get in the car and he sees that I'm crying. At first, I wouldn't tell him why I was upset because I was embarrassed and didn't want to be a tattletale. Once we pulled into the driveway though, he wouldn't let me out of the car until I told him what was up. Good dad. After my explanation, he told me to go inside and get washed up for the dinner, and that he'll be inside in a few minutes. Okay, so time warped to 10 years later. I was planning a big high school graduation cookout at our house, and I was inviting all the kids from our neighborhood. A couple of the boys from the snowball incident told me that they didn't really feel comfortable hanging out at my parents' house, to which I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? These boys then lay out this tale. On that fateful snow D-Day, my dad drove back to the kids' fort and screamed at all of them to come out or he would call their parents. Once all the boys were lined up, Dad, still in his suit and tie, demolished their fort, kicked the shit all down. Then from the rubble, he made a big-ass man-sized snowman and made sure each kid got a violent faceful of their precious fort. Fuck yeah, Dad. I'm glad I had the opportunity to tell this story right at this moment. My dad is in the hospital tonight after a super terrifying heart issue fainting episode this morning, and we're just waiting for more information and trying not to lose my mind. I hope everything really works out for her mom. What, Kyle? Her dad. God, heart things are so scary. It's just like cancer. It can just come out of nowhere, and there's like nothing we can do about it, you know? I'm a fat dude too, and I need to work out more. If you're listening to this and you can somehow help me working out, because I just don't have the motivation, and I don't know where it's going to come from. It's so easy. Just get your fat ass up and walk. Pokemon Go is doing it for a small amount of time, and now it just seems like, fuck. And lifting weights wouldn't kill me either. Anyway, number 21, guys. One time I asked my dad to rent the Notebook for me from the good old family video up the street. He rented Nacho Libre because he could only remember that it started with an N. Well, it's better than that bullshit you was asking him for. Somebody said he knew what he was doing. That's my dad. Number 20. One time my dad made me drive 3 hours from home to visit Sorry, that was a really strange one that seemed to be traveling through me. That burp took control of me. Don't let it take control of you. What are you on about, dude? Number 20. One time my dad made me drive 3 hours from home to visit a nature preserve. He then began taking pics of the birds there. Just one problem. The birds were plastic. Turns out the flocks had stopped migrating back to the preserve, so they put up plastic birds for the tourists. The funniest part was how long it took him to listen to me telling him they were plastic. Oh, Dad. Oh shit, Hannah called me 44 minutes ago. I'll call her back. I'm really bad at this. I'm really bad at, I'm getting hot as fuck, too. Guys, I love you. Let's spitfire these motherfuckers. Let's get through this shit. Number 19. One time my dad was on a business trip and he ended up getting upgraded to first class. He ended up talking with the guy seated near him for a majority of the flight. Turned out, that guy was Usher. Yeah, 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 yeah. Usher. Okay, let it burn, guys. Somebody said, planes have stewards, okay? He might have been in a movie theater. That's funny. That's funny, guys. Ugh, Usher, planes have stewards, okay? That's the daddest thing in this bitch. That's dad squared in this list. I'm impressed. You don't hear me get this excited about a fucking comment, but I love that one. Come on. Yeah. Anyway, number 18. One time my dad cut his leg pretty bad, so he tore... Nigga, what? Spelled T-O-U-R? Did Stripes write this? God bless Stripes. She's adorable, eh? So he tore my mom's shirt off, wrapped up his womb, and drove himself to the hospital. He also put coffee in his oatmeal to kill two birds with one stone. That's how you breakfast, ladies and gentlemen. Number 17. According to my grandfather, my dad, on his first day of school back in the 60s, came home all smiles and laughter. The next day, when my grandmother awoke him for the second day of school, matter-of-factly, he replied, "No, I've already been to school." He really thought that school was something like the dentist or inoculations, where you only have to go once and that's it. That poor man. That poor man. Number 16. One time, my dad made a remote control car and put me as a toddler on it and drove me around. That's cool. Somebody said, sounds adorably dangerous. To be honest, kids can't have fun without danger. You know, danger is equivalent to fun. So unless there's like pretty much a big, strong chance of dying, it's not true fun. Take a child and throw him up in the air. He'll tell you it's the coolest thing you've ever done. He wants you to do it again. It's pretty dangerous though. You know what I mean? One small move, one nude sent to your phone. You know what I mean? One spicy nude, the nude spicy enough. You know what I'm talking about? Up you go. And then you're like, oh shit. Oh my God. And that kid's like, now I'm retarded. That's not funny. It's not funny. It's a hypothetical. So it's funny in the hypothetical. Not that man, fuck. Yeah. Yeah, put that foot right in their mouth, Carl. Number 15. One time my dad literally took candy from a baby. A 2-year-old held up a lollipop and my dad assumed the kid was giving it to him. After taking it and walking away, he realized the toddler probably just wanted to show it to him. It was as easy as taking candy from a baby. Number 14. One time my dad ripped a humongous fart and killed all the power in the neighborhood, literally. Dark. Spoiler, we later found out that someone had hit a pole further up the line at that exact moment. It made perfect sense to us kids. Dad's an electrician, and he has deadly farts. Fart dark. Now I use this as an example that correlation is not causation. Wow. Can you imagine someone farting and the lights going out at the exact moment? I think I used to have a girlfriend named Gabriella McIntyre, and this chick used to really laugh at me. Let me tell you something. And it's a weird thing to admit that somebody would laugh at you, but I'm a joke. You know what I mean? As a human being, whatever. Gotta live with it. You gotta laugh at yourself or you're gonna cry. I'll never forget one of the fondest times that I've ever. You feel good when you make somebody laugh, especially when it's a girlfriend. So you when you make somebody laugh, you love it. But the fondest time that I can remember her laughing wasn't at one of my jokes, which were okay. It wasn't at me being an idiot, which is like typical. It was one time where we were in the kitchen and the water's hot. And she says to me, "Be careful, Kyle. That water's hot." And I said, "Nigga," you know what I mean? And then I dipped my hand in the water. And the only thing that escaped me was a sound that was basically like this. and the air escaped the room as she slow turned at me with her mouth open in a wide smile before she started bark laughing at me. And it made me so, God damn it. Whatever, man. Okay? Whatever. Fart dark. Number 13. One time my dad was sitting on the couch in our living room. Mom brought out a bag of sugar and asked him to open it. He opened it like it was a bag of Doritos. And I mean, it was everywhere. He was only wearing his shorts, so there was sugar in just about every square inch of his visible hair, as well as all over our couch and carpet. Took him 4 showers in a row to get it all off. I'm going to open the comments to this motherfucker, and if anybody says something like, well, I guess he a sugar daddy now, fuck me. That's where sugar daddies come from. Let's just be done with the list here. How did I know that? I promise, you know that I don't come through these lists, because half of the lists that I record, I have to stop a couple of them in and then go to myself. That was just a waste of time. Nobody's going to listen to this, and it's not entertaining. And, I wouldn't do that if I actually proofread half of these lists. I got time in the day to do shit like that. And it's better when the fucking list reactions are candid. That's what some of the people are here for. Even though some of the people hate it when I go off in a tangent like this, where I'm not reading the actual entries on the list. But trust me, motherfucker, I want to get through this list more than you do. But the ADHD ain't playing. Okay? So if I don't keep myself interested, I'll find a way to kill myself right now. And that's not what you want. I mean, you wouldn't be here listening to this unless you ended up here. Maybe I'm dead. Maybe I'm dead. You're looking for more Kyle. You only get more. Only Kyle that you can get more of is those spooky remnants of me on my channel. Ooh, I'm speaking to you from beyond. You're an idiot, dude. You're an idiot. That's not funny. Number 12. We're all gonna die. What? We're all gonna die. Number 12. One time my dad almost slit my throat. Damn, that escalated quickly. Because he thought I was a burglar. I had snuck downstairs for some reason. I was in the kitchen and heard him coming, so I hid behind the kitchen counter, heard my dad opening drawers and things. Next thing I know, he leaned over the counter and grabbed my head, had a kitchen knife to my throat. A split second later, he realized it was me, dropped me, and I got yelled at because he heard me breathing, thought I was a home intruder, and I almost got in a world of pain. He was shaking from adrenaline. And as a dad now myself, I can imagine the state of mind he was in. I'm surprised he hesitated, motherfucker. And you don't, like, the fact that you stupid little kids are running around on that bullshit, it almost made him a murderer of his own children. He would never be able to live with them. He would probably kill himself like weeks later. Woo! What a nightmare that would be. Number 11. One time my dad came home after I had a party at the house. There were girls dancing together on the pool table, and one of them had Cheeto dust on their fingers. I tried to clean it, but couldn't get all of it before they got home. He calls me downstairs and asks me about the marks on the table. I couldn't think of a lie, so I just told him the truth. He stares at me for a couple of seconds and then says, "Nice." Yeah. He should have been like, "Yo, how big were them titties?" Because that's what matters. Number 10. One time my dad saw I was really in a really low mood. So he walked into my room, grabbed my trash, Hatsune Miku wig, and my swim goggles, put them both on, and followed me around for a solid 10 minutes, completely nonchalant to make me laugh. Imagine, if you will, a large imposing black man wearing a teal pigtailed wig and goggles so old that they're turning brown, casually making himself a sandwich. What the fuck? He should have busted into that dance. That Hatsune Miku dance. The bouncy one. Anyway, number 9. One time my dad took me to college orientation back in '98. I grew up in an urban setting. Man, I feel like the mic is getting higher, as crazy as that sounds. Because I feel like I'm like having to sit up to get over the mic. Like I'm a little kid or something. Is this dad list turning me into a little kid? That'd be pretty cool. Number 9. One time my dad took me to a college orientation back in 98. I grew up in the urban setting and wanted to mix it up, so I decided to do an undergrad school in a very rural area. Not a lot of diversity. My dad is the best and always wants to goof around. We had this Jeep growing up that we called Little Blackie. Because it was little and black. And running joke was that anytime any of us in the family saw a similar looking Jeep, one of us would yell, "Hey, look, it's Little Blackie." Okay. Okay, motherfucker. We are walking around campus, and sure enough, there was a Jeep parked within sight. My dad starts yelling, "Hey, look, Little Blackie, Little Blackie." Of course, the only African-American kid on campus was walking right in front of us. My dad was oblivious and kept right on yelling. The poor kid looked at me in disgust, and I was so very mortified. I wanted to disappear. I ended up becoming really good friends with him later in my freshman year. Of course you did. That was the most popular motherfucker on campus. That nigga probably had all of you kids barking up his bullshit tree just so they can play the "I have a black friend" card at their stupid ass party so they can feel less racist, when deep down all of y'all are racist as fuck. Racist. It's Lil Blackie. Like it's a sitcom. It's Little Blackie. Like, next. Number 8. One time my older brother and I were helping my dad cut down some trees in the backyard, and the chainsaw kind of stuck, and my dad yanked it out a little too hard and hit my brother's leg. We all froze, looked at his jeans, which had 4 or so perfectly spaced holes, but no blood. He had managed to hit my brother's pants, but didn't get in far enough to hit flesh. The next words out of his mouth were pretty obvious. "Don't tell your mother." And we still haven't, 20 years later. Can you imagine if she came into this thread and just like started, not just the mom of these actual kids, but like every mom that's reading this, just going in to the brothers and the dad. "Did you do this?" No, it's not me. Come on, lady. Number 7. This was a few years back. My dad really got into my pot brownies. Only way I know this is because I woke up in the middle of the night to him putting baby socks on the dog. His only statement was dogs shouldn't have cold feet. Somebody said, "I think your dad knew what he was doing." Somebody else says, number 6. One time when I was about 10, my dad called me into his room. He and my mom were there completely naked, standing around and laying their clothes down, ready to get dressed. They acted like the situation was completely normal and asked me about some random thing. I eventually blocked this out of my memory and thought it to be a dream, but then 10 years later, they told me that was their way of showing me what a body looked like because I was getting close to that age. Dude, what the fuck? Too long didn't read. My parents flashed me to avoid the talk. You can't just be like blam, 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 blam. This mom titties. Look at this ass. Look at my ding dong. How is your pants? Shit your pants. Shit your pants. Look at this ding dong. Shit your pants. Sorry. I was really flipping my head around a lot with that. That was fun. For me. Might not have been fun for you. Okay. Number 5. So we're having a family dinner over the summer, and my sister, probably hot, had been at a barbecue the day before, and the host gave her a big bowl of fruit salad to take home. Fruit salad, yummy, yummy. We're sitting there having a dinner, and my dad staring at the fruit salad with this weird look on his face, and he says, "What are these little blue things?" while holding up a blueberry. We were like, "How the fuck do you not know what a blueberry is?" Then realized my mom hates blueberries, so dude hasn't seen a blueberry in 45 years and forgot they existed. Was it a potato? Okay, if you guys don't know what potato is all about, just literally Google TIFU potato. I'm sure dozens of people have read this, even people that aren't me. Bing bong. But if you type videos, maybe the first one that comes up is me. Today, I fucked up by enraging the parents of my girlfriend. That's a 5-minute video. Go listen to that. I don't have time for that. Well, I'm gonna listen to my own video and in my own video while I'm making a video. Oh God, this isn't the list you were on, Kyle. Number 4. One time my dad's fart smelled so bad, my dog threw up. Somebody responds, my dad crop dusted an old woman in IKEA and she looked like she was having flashbacks to World War II. Somebody else says, I had an internship at an elementary school and once I farted directly in this first grader's face. Didn't know the little fucker was behind me and I swear to God he ate it. Turned around and all he said was, Mr. Russell, that wasn't very nice. Farting on kids, man. That's another thing that I've read. If I type in Kyle, fart on kid. Yeah. Fart kid. Go listen to that. Fart kid. Fart kid. What a world. Number 3. One time my dad waited till my 3 siblings and I had gone to bed on Christmas Eve. Then he shouted, I don't care who you are, fat man. Get that sled off my roof. And we were all up and telling Dad not to yell at Santa.
Don't yell at Santa, Dad.
That's just lovely. Number 2. One time my dad took my brother's walkie-talkie and had us and about 10 kids in the neighborhood convinced that he had picked up a signal from a plane that was crashing towards the earth. We were running up and down the streets for an hour with our eyes on the sky, listening as the pilot tried to reach someone for help. Dad's windows were open, so we eventually caught on to the heinous laughter echoing between the houses after every Mayday. That asshole. Your dad's a dick. But I guess that's what kids are, or were back in the day, is entertainment. Number 1 on the list of 35 wildest one-time my dad stories. Oh boy, we made it. One time when I was 6, I got my big toenail ripped off. That stings. I can't do nail stuff. Ugh. Like when we deal with body horror and like physical horror in movies, it's all fine until nails hit a chalkboard or, the nail coming off and like in fucking Ring and Saw and bullshit like that. I can't fucking deal with that. I hate that. Ugh, it just makes my fucking literally my toes curled reading that. One time when I was 6, I got my big toenail ripped off and my dad convinced me to put the toenail under my pillow for the toenail fairy. I got $1. Come on, guys. See why I don't read so many lists? Oh boy, guys, what's going on in your day? You good? Leave a comment here somewhere. Here's a Today I Learned. Today I learned Peggy Bundy played Katie Seagal, whose real-life pregnancy was written into season 6. When the actress suffered a miscarriage, the pregnancy storyline was written as a dream of Al's. As if it were felt it would be too traumatic for Katie Seagal to work with an infant. Aww. I had no idea she voices Leela on Futurama. That's kind of sad. I can't leave the match on a note like that. Match. It's all, when you're pro Kyle, everything's an Overwatch match. Eye Bleach. Let's go to Eye Bleach, guys. What's at the top of Eye Bleach? Some bitch in a hammock with a dog. Oh, look how cute. Girls. Is there anything for the guys here? It's just a little kitty. Okay. What's some of the top posts on this bitch that everybody gotta upvote? Okay, here's one. Oh, it's a little deer. Look at that face. He's all like, yeah, I'm gonna be internet famous. Too bad I've never seen them.
Oh wow. It's like hugging the ducky.
Aw. Okay, we're done here. Take it easy, guys. Bye.